Alright guys, so 2023, let me see what we can do. The expression PQ plus 5R minus 5Q minus PR is equal to, so I say P and 5 come in first, so I'll go put a P and a 5 first, so PQ, and I'll put the, let me put the minus 5Q now, plus, no, let me put the PR first, minus PR plus 5R. So you see how the 5 comes second here, just for those of you who don't know, I go want to put the 5 second in the next group, because I have to factorize by grouping. Q into P, take away 5, so I know it's either this or this. Take away R, so I know the next one is Q, take away R, so the answer is A. If you want to complete the factorization, it could be R into P minus 5, P minus 5 into Q minus R. Good to go. When this is divided by x plus 2, the quotient is, now let me check and see if it is indeed a repeat. And in the event it's a repeat, we can just go back into 2019 solutions and I'll look at watch it and see what is the scene. Was it 2019 was the quotient one, boy, or 2018? I know one of them was a quotient. Let me check back 2018. Okay. Me see none with quotient. Let me just go back and do it, yes? When it's divided by x plus 2, the quotient is, now, it might have a remainder. I believe this one was this, you know. I believe it was this. Alright, so there we go. X cubed minus 7x plus 2x minus 1. X plus 2. I will get x squared on top. 7x squared, right? I will get x squared on top. And then I go get a x squared plus x cubed plus 2x squared, and I had to take away. So now the first piece of my quotient is a x squared, so it's either this or this. Minus 7 minus 2 is minus 9x squared, and I get minus 9x here. So I don't know how to work out the rest. The answer is D. If this is equal to a into x plus h squared plus k, then everybody have their own way in which they will perform this calculation. I like to go ahead and force the perfect square. I'll get minus 8x plus half the coefficient of x, which is minus 4, to be squared, plus 19. Take away 1 into minus 4 to be squared. I'll get x minus 4 squared, 1 into x minus 4 squared. So h is minus 4. So this is the only one that yielding h is minus 4. So I'm gravitating towards C being my answer. Now, just pay attention to how they have this form, right? A nice way they could have bring this is a into x plus k squared plus h, where k, in this case here, would have been the minus 4. K will be this number inside of here. So just be careful how they ask for the general form. So I'm gravitating towards C, but I want to make sure this is 19 take away minus 4 squared is 16. So 19 take away 16 is 3. So K is 3. So the answer is indeed C. The values of x for which this is equal to 64x are, I believe we would have already done this question as well in a previous paper, but let me go and do it again. I will get x plus 15 squared is 64x. Square the right hand side, x squared plus 15 by 2 is 30x, and I believe it's 225. Let me pull up the calculator and see what is seen. 15 squared, 225, yes. So plus 225. I could bring across the 64. 30 take away 64 is what? Minus 34. So A is 1. B is minus 34 and C is 225, and you could use a calculator to solve. My one again, mode 2, A is 1, B is negative 34, and C is 225. 25 and 9 is the answers. The answer is D. The roots of the equation are, so I could just go ahead and check the roots of the equation. A is 3, B is minus 6, and C is minus 5. I'm getting a real number and I'm getting an x real number. So they are real and distinct. So you don't have to fight up to go ahead and calculate discriminant and thing here. Just calculate the solutions. The quadratic equation, so we did this question as well in the past. We don't need to see none of this no more. A quadratic equation is such that the sum of the roots, so generally we have x squared, take away the sum of the roots, x, plus the product of the roots is equal to 0. Multiply everything by 12. I get 12x squared. This becomes a plus. 3 into 12 is 4. 4 2s are 8. Plus 4 into 12 is 3. 3 3s are 9. 12x squared plus 8x plus 9. 12x squared plus 8x plus 9. Obviously, we have the equal to 0. Hopefully, it is obvious. I know how to say obviously, but sometimes it's not that obvious. But nevertheless, we digress. Alright, we have another shortcut we can do here for your paper ones. I explained this in the last paper, I believe. Traditionally, for this being a paper 2 question, multiply by the square of the denominator, but granted it's a paper 1 question, put the numerator equal to 0 and solve. 5x minus 2 is equal to 0. X is equal to 2/5. Put the denominator equal and solve. 2 minus 3x is equal to 0. If I move the minus 3 across, I get 3x. So I get 3x is equal to 2. And x is 2/3. Which one is actually smaller here? 2/5 is smaller than 2/3, right? This will turn out to be a negative x squared curve. So negative x squared is here. I want to know where it's greater than 0. So it's going to be above the curve on both sides. The smaller number going here, which is 2/5. The bigger number going here, which is 2/3. Remember, x cannot be equal to 2/3. So we will have x is less than or equal to 2/5. Union x is more than 2/3. X is less than or equal to 2/5. Union x is more than 2/3. So the answer is B. The range of values for which this is less than 0 is, just go ahead and solve. I believe this one was one of the two underneath. We still had the quadratic on the calculator. 1 minus 7 and 10. 5 and 2. So this is a positive x squared. We have 2 and we have 5. So it's in between here for less than 0. So it's going to be 2 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 5. 2 is less than x is, oh no, not less than or equal to, sorry. Less than 5 because this is a less than here. Right? 2 is less than x is less than 5. The answer is B. Oh, and I would have told you guys in the last paper, you don't even have to calculate the answers. You could just draw this graph, see where it's less than 0, and this will be the only solution that could satisfy the region. This can be expressed as, again, you could go ahead and cheat for this question here. You could plug this in your calculator. 8 root 5 in brackets. 8 plus root 5 multiplied by 2 take away root 5. Oh good lord. Make sure and press back home to reset your calculator to perform regular operations. 8 plus root 5 into 2 take away root 5. I get negative 2.4164 07865. Write out the whole thing. Now I'm looking for a negative number. Alright? This here, I don't know if this could give me a negative number. I know these two here are going to give me positive numbers for sure. For sure. So the answer could either be A or B. So 11 take away 6 root 5. Negative 2.416407.865. So the answer is A. Let me just entertain the second answer. 21 take away 6 root 5. Positive number. This simplifies to 5 to the power minus 1. I will put equal. divided by 25 to the power a third, 125, sorry, to the power 1/3, 0.4, which is 1 over 25. 0.04, sorry. This is a repeat question. I believe the answer for this was negative a quarter, but we'll still do the answers. I go in and bring everything to the same base and use laws of indices one time. So using laws of indices here, I'll get 3 to the power 1. The multiplication will be a plus. This here turns out to 3 cubed to the power 2x. Multiply the powers to the power 6x. So I get plus 6x is equal to 9 to the power x, that is 3 squared to the power x, which is 3 to the power 2x. And go ahead and solve. 1 plus 6x is 2x. Move the 2x, move the 1. I'll get 6x minus 2x is 4x, is minus 1, and x is indeed minus a quarter. Find the value of x such that this happens. If you want and you know your change of base, you could use your change of base to bring this to something you could solve on your calculator. You could actually change it to base 10 and solve it on your calculator. Or you could go ahead and use your laws of logs. It's going to be 5x plus 1 over 3x take away 5 log to base 2 over 3x take away 5. And this is the number on the log is equal to 2. And then I'm going to change this to indices to exponential equation. 2 squared is equal to 5x plus 1 over 3x take away 5. This is 4. And I'm multiplying it by the denominator one time. So 4 3s are 12x. 5 by 4 is minus 20. Is 5x plus 1. Move the 5 across. 12 minus 5 is 7x. Move the 20 across. I get 21. X is 3. For the arithmetic progression, the nth term is given as t sub n is equal to a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. We could get a and we can get d. A is going to be negative 12 plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. Minus 7. Given that it's an AP, I'm not going to bother to calculate my common difference using the negative numbers. It's too much a bacchanal. 8 take away 3. Negative 5. If you wanted 7 take away negative 12, it's going to be 7. Sorry, 8 take away 3 is 5. Yeah, 5. 7 take away negative 12 becomes 7 plus 12, which is 5. Minus 7, sorry. So we're going to have minus 12 plus 5n. So I have 5n here, here, and here. Good. Minus 5. I get minus 17 as the number. Answer is C. Alright, the sum of this is, we do this one already. I think this one was 11 over 6. This is going to be 1 over 1 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. So 1 plus a half plus a third. 1 and 5/6 or 11 over 6. This series converges to, I think this converges to negative 6 on 5, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so we just calculate the sum to infinity, which is a over 1 take away r, and I believe r in this case was 2/3. So let me check and see. R will be 4 over 3 divided by minus 2. Negative 2/3. So negative 2/3, 1 plus 2/3, and minus 2 divided by that is negative 6 on 5. So my memory did serve me correct. We did this question in the past, but we will go ahead and do it again for those who didn't watch the last video. A line L passes through the point 6,5 and is perpendicular to a line whose equation is that. So let me get a gradient of this line here. I will move the 3x across and I'll divide by 4. So I'll get minus 3/4 will be the gradient of this line. So the gradient of L, I just flip it. I flip in minus 3/4 and I change in the sign. So the gradient is 4 over 3. And using the formula, y take away y1 is equal to m into x take away x1. Now they want it with integer coefficients. So right here, literally right here, we can multiply by 3 throughout. Multiplying by 3 throughout, I go get 3y take away 15 is equal to, when I multiply this by 3, the 3 cancels with the 3. So I'll get 4x take away 24. 3y take away 4x. So we have the 4x being positive. So in order for the 4x to be positive, I'll have to move the 3y on this side. So it could be 4x minus 3y. The only thing with 4x minus 3y is a. Let me just confirm the number is indeed 9. Move minus 9. Move the 15 across. I'll get minus 24 plus 15. I indeed get minus 9. So although sometimes, yes, the answer is a little bit clear-cut using these two terms alone, just verify now, because we could make a mistake here. All right? Everybody is prone to error, so just verify that is the actual answer. Number 17. Those two intersect at the point P. The coordinate of P is, we did this question. This is 922. The answer is C. I believe, if I remember correctly, you could plug in the x and y values in all two equations and check and see for all 4 solutions, A, B, C, and D, or just go ahead and solve them simultaneously. From here, I can move the y across. 3x take away 5 is equal to y, and plug in this over here. So 7x take away 4 into 3x take away 5 plus 25 is equal to 0. 7x take away 12x plus 20 plus 25 is equal to 0. 45. 7 take away 12 is minus 5x is equal to, when I get 45 and I move it across, minus 45. X is 9. The only answer that has x is 9 is C. Number 18. The points of intersection of the line and the circle with equation that are, all right, so this one is a bit trickier, but it's the same concept. Let me make y the subject over here, plug it in downstairs here, and check and see. Now, we could also, it might take the same amount of time checking these 2 points in the 2 equations, checking these 2 points in the 2 equations, and do that for all of these possible solutions. But I think solving them simultaneously is the easier thing to do. Y is equal to x plus 3. Plug that into my equation, x squared plus y squared, which is x plus 3 squared is equal to 17. And please, Olia, don't be the, hey, there's x squared plus 9. Please don't do that. Please. All right, don't embarrass yourself. There's x squared plus 6x plus 9 is 17. 2x squared plus 6x, 9 minus 17 is minus 8. Quadratic formula on your calculator one time. 2, 6, and negative 8. I get x is 1 and x is minus 4. So these are my x values here and here. So I'm looking for 1 and minus 4. So I seen 1 here, but I seen 4 here. I seen 1 here, and I seen minus 4 here. Now I just want to check. Does any of the solutions offer 1 and minus 4 as my x coordinate? And the answer is no. If we observe, I have minus 1 here and 4 here. I have minus 1 here and minus 4 here. So none of the other answers offers 1 and minus 4 as my x coordinates. So the answer has to be D. All right, OA and OB are that and that. AB, now, by now you all should be comfortable with vector addition. So I don't have to write the first line. I will just write minus OA plus OB. So it will be 17 negative 25 plus 4, 5. 17 and 4 is 21. And the only answer that gives me 21 as the top value is D. Again, I will always say it, double check with the below neat value. Minus 25 plus 5 is indeed negative 20, which we have down here. All right, the unit vector parallel to this is same concept as the one we did before. Calculate the size of the vector and divide by the vector itself. And based on all the experience, you should be able to deduce the answer is going to be C. All right, because the vector is 8i plus 15j. The size of this vector is going to be 17. And the only thing that's going to give us the size of these answers to be 1 is when I have this here. Because if the size of this vector is 17, 17 by 1 over 17 is going to give me 1. And that's the definition for a unit vector. This is a repeat question from a question way back when. All right, so we have to use the dot product here. So let me dot these two things together now. Now, you could get away with a couple things here, right, guys? I know that the size of the vector is going to be root 290 because of this, 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 and this. All of those denominators are root 90. If you remember, a dot b over mod a mod b is equal to cosine theta. Theta will be cosine inverse of this. All of these denominators has root 290, which means this here is root 290. All I had to do is see what a dot b is. If a dot b is 1, use the answer. 11, root 11 could never be that. We cannot dot product a vector and get this. It's possible if the denominator was something different, and we could get this here. Right? But CXC wouldn't test it. This could be a viable answer depending on what this denominator is, but they wouldn't test that, right? I'm just throwing that out there for you. So let me see what the dot product is. Multiply these two, and add them. Plus negative 5, I get 1. Answer is A. The exact value of cosine of 5 pi on 12 is, don't have to fight up. Cosine, change the calculator to radians. Cosine of 5 pi on 12 is 0.258819. So we do this one already, right? I remember writing down this question. 19045. And let me check and see which one gives me the answer. Root 6 take away root 2. Root 6 take away root 2. Divided by 4. The answer is A. Right? We don't have to, if you all want to, I could go and check B, C, and D. We don't have to, right? Okay, this is a nice question. Sine of 150 over cos of 150. Just plug it in a calculator, right? Change it back to degrees. Sine of 150 divided by cos of 150 is equal to this. Now, I'm going to I show some of my students this. I think I showed this in one of the videos. And I could use this for those of you who are going into the pure maths, right? I get this value here. And this could help you in an exam, right? In the future. Over cosine of 150 is equal to this number displayed on the calculator. What I like to do, I like to square that number just to entertain it. So what I'm calculating, I calculate in this. Squared is equal to, so I'll square this number. I get 1/3. Cool. Now, please be mindful that this was a negative number and I square it. I get 1/3. So to get this here, I have to square root both sides. Square root u, square root u, square root of 1 is 1. But just keep in mind that this here was a negative number to begin with. I'm only squaring it to see what the exact value is. So it's negative 1 on root 3. Right? If you all want a little help further in using this application here, look at sine 45. Sine 45 is this. I'm going to square it. I get 0.5. Square root 0.5, which is a half. Square root of a half is 1 on root 2. So sine 45 is 1 on root 2. It just takes a little bit getting accustomed to, right? Number 23, we did this question already. I believe this is 3 pi on 8. This is 30 degrees. And 30 degrees in radians, we had to multiply by pi on 180. So 30 degrees multiplied by pi over 180. This could come into here 6 times, so I get pi on 6. And the arc length is r theta. So the radius is 1.5 by pi on 6. 1.5 multiplied by 1/6. Because we want to maintain the pi, we get 0.25. So 0.25 is a quarter pi or pi on 4. So was it the same concept before? I wonder. Let's just double check that, guys, to make sure I didn't make a mistake in the questions prior to this. 1.5, and this one was 60 degrees. 2023 they gave us that's 30 degrees. Right, so just making sure. Tan theta is 5/12 and theta is reflex, then sine theta is, now if theta is reflex, theta is going to be more than 180 degrees. Cool? Given that it's more than 180 degrees, I'm looking for a negative value for sine, because sine is going to be negative in quadrants 2 and 3. So I'm going to oblige, if this is theta, come on, if this is theta, tan theta is opposite over adjacent, 5 and 12. You all should realize a Pythagorean triplet triangle. Sine theta is 5 over 13 opposite over hypotenuse, but it's going to be negative. Cosine of x, I'm looking for it starting up top, going down, coming across, and be finishing at 2 pi. So the answer for this is B. Cos x is 3/5, and x is acute. The value of sine 2x is, bust out your compound angle, your double angle formula, right? So first, let me do the same thing we do with the tan question. Theta, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is adjacent, 3 over 5. Again, a Pythagorean triplet. And sine 2x is 2 sine x cos x, which is 2 sine x is 4/5. And we know what cos x is, 3/5. So we have 25 as the denominator, and 4 2s are 8, 8 3s are 24. 24 and 25. The answer is D. Number 28. We do this question as well in the past, right? Let me go through again, right? My calculator one. 34 plus 110. Take away 180. So I know the missing angle going to be 36 degrees. So 36, I'm going to do 180 divided by 36 to see what the denominator is pi on 5. Two sine x cos x over cos squared x, take away sine squared x. Okay, this is a nice question. 2 sine x cos x, we just now do that by sine 2x. Cos squared x minus sine squared x, that is cos 2x. Sine 2x over cos 2x is tan 2x. Now, we have a couple different ways to do it. We could have assigned values for the angles and then check and see which one of these answers it would have been. But the easiest thing is to recognize both of them are double angle formula. The equation for this has only one real solution. I believe this is cos x is a third. I most believe so. Right? If I'm not mistaken, this is cosine x is equal to a third. And this was a 2019 question. So let me go. Let me see. Yeah. Look at exact same question here. I will first bring it to one trigonometric ratio. I will plug these values into my calculator, mode 2, A is 3, B is 8, and C is minus 3. So one answer is a third, one answer is negative 3. and this will be invalid. So cosine x is equal to a third is going to be the answer they're looking for this question here. Cosine x is a third. Right? Let me just make sure 3 sine x is equal to 8 cos 3 sine squared x is equal to 8 cos x. 3 sine squared x is 8 cos x. So the exact same question. The gradient at this on the curve is, okay, so they want the gradient at x is pi on 6 on the curve y is cos x, dy dx is negative sine x. So home, change your calculator to degrees, to radians, sorry, and sine of pi on 6 is a half, and when I differentiate cos I get negative sine, so negative sine pi on 6 is negative a half. The answer is B. Oh, item 32 refers to the following velocity time graph, which represents the position as a function of time for a moving object over 8 seconds. Which of the following statements about the object's motion is true? The object covers the same distance during m and r. During m and r, it covers the same distance. I don't think so, because the distance covered is the area underneath the graph. The area underneath this graph here is going to be this, which is a rectangle, and the area underneath this graph is going to be this, which is going to be the area of a trapezium, which is by actually watching it, it's going to be less. So the first one is not true. But they want to know which one is true. The object moves with uniform velocity during f. It does not move with uniform velocity because the velocity is changing from 0 to 10. So U is false. The object does not accelerate during t. That is true. The object does not accelerate. It maintains a constant velocity during t. So U is true. I'm just going to entertain the last one. The object is at rest during m. The object is it at rest? It's not at rest. It's traveling with a uniform velocity over here. Cool? He moving. Time going and he moving. If this was a displacement time graph, he would have stayed at 10 meters for 2 seconds, which means he wouldn't have been moving. So the answer for 32 is C. 33. Oh God, oh Gid. We have a little product rule. So V multiplied by du dx plus U multiplied by dv dx. So we get sine 2x plus 2x cos 2x. The answer is A. If all you don't know all your product rule, something wrong. All you're not supposed to be doing at maths. Right, mindy noise. At the point 7,4 on the curve, y is equal to f of x, dy dx is 0, and d2y dx squared is negative. d2y dx squared is negative, so we sad, we have a maximum point. If this, then f double dash. So we want to differentiate this brother man here twice. And most believe it's going to be one of these numbers here. Let me check and see. So when I differentiate sine 4x, I'm going to get 4 cosine 4x. When I differentiate cosine, I'm going to get negative sine, which changes this to positive. So I'll get plus 3 sine 3x. I'll differentiate this again. When I differentiate cosine, I'm going to get negative sine. So I'll get negative 4 by 4 is 16 sine 4x. Remember what I told you all before. Look at your answers before you go and calculate your answers. The only one with negative 16 sine 4x is D. So I'm gravitating towards D being my answer. And remember what I told you all again. Just make sure. When I differentiate sine, I get in cosine. So it's going to be plus 9 cosine 3x. When I integrate in this here, I go integrate using the shortcut, right? 3x take away 5, add 1 to the power, divide by the power, and attaching the differential of the brackets on the denominator. I get 15 on my denominator, and I get to the power 5 on my numerator. The answer is C. If y is equal to that, then the integral of y is, when I integrate 3x squared, I get 3x cubed over 3, which is x cubed. Now, based on this here, right, I wouldn't use it up there. If y is equal to sine x, then I differentiate it, I'm going to get cosine x. So if I integrate cosine, I'm going to get back sine. So when I integrate cosine, I'm just going to get plus sine x. So x cubed plus sine x plus c, the answer is B. Right, we don't need all of this anymore. So we have a finite integral here. When I integrate 1, I get x plus x squared over 2 plus x cubed over 3 between 2 and 1. I'll get 2 plus 2 2s are 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 2 cubed is 8. I'm going to get 8 over 3. Take away 1 plus a half plus a third. 1 plus a half plus a third is 1 and 5, 6. And 2 and 2 is 4 plus 8 over 3. Take away 1 and 5, 6, right? So the answer on my calculator is 1 and 5, 6. However, all I want to do it, or I could do it, I could utilize my calculator properly. So I'm going to get 4 plus 8 over 3. Take away the last answer displayed on my calculator, 4 and 5, 6. The gradient of the tangent to the curve is given by dy dx is 9x squared minus 4. The equation of the curve that passes through the point, we have to integrate. When I integrate 9x squared, I'm going to get 9x cubed over 3. Take away 4x plus c, and there's y. U and u, I'll get 3. So this is my x coordinate, this is my y coordinate. In order to calculate c, I'll get 2 is equal to 3 into minus 1 cubed. Take away 4 into minus 1 plus c. 2 is equal to negative 3 plus 4. Minus 3 plus 4 is 1. When I move the 1 across, it becomes negative 1. So 2 take away 1 is 1. So c is 1. So 3x cubed minus 4x plus 1. The answer is E. Cool. Where am I getting 18 running from, by? Oh. How am I getting 18 day? I don't know why, but I doubt people go say, well, let me differentiate this, or let me multiply this by 2 and leave the 9. The region R close by the x-axis, the curve, the area of R. Okay, so we need to get the area, so the integral between 0 and 1 of minus x squared plus 2. I just go and write that as 2 minus x squared. So when I integrate, I get 2x take away x cubed over 3 between 0 and 1 and 0. Now, because both terms has x in it, when I plug in the lower limit 0, this turns to 0 and this turns to 0. So I just going to plug in the upper limit. I'll get 2 take away a third. Yes, I know it's a simple question, but I still write it down 2 take away a third. And I know it's 513, but I'm still checking. I want to double check. All right, number 41. If the odds of winning a car and winning the cruise vacation are equally likely, what's the probability of winning a car? If they are equally likely, then these two here, we could represent these two things as x. Now, I didn't bother to read the instructions. Don't do as I do as I say. Please read your instructions. Item 41 refers to the following probability table, which shows the probability of a biased spinner landing on 3 of the 5 possible prizes. If the odds of winning decay so by so, those two will be equal. When I add up all of these probabilities, I am going to get 1. So, adding up all of them, I will get 2x here, right? So, 0.15 plus 0.25 plus 0.5 is 0.9. 2x plus 0.9 is equal to 1. Move the 1 across. 1 take away 0.9. I know what it is, but I'm still checking. It's 0.1. 0.1 divided by 2 is 0.05. So x is 0.05, which is the probability of winning a car. The answer is D. Which of the following is an advantage of a stem and leaf diagram over a box and whisker? It easily It easily handles large amounts of data. That's not an advantage because a box and a box and whisker will handle bigger amounts of values better. The median, quartiles are immediately visible. No, that's an advantage of a box and whisker. Several data sets can be compared in the same plot. That is true. That is very true. We can have more than one data sets being in the same plot. And it immediately shows any gaps that might exist in the data. That is not true. So the answer here is C. So you can actually use the stem and leaf to compare two sets of data in the same stem and leaf. The 50th percentile is known as the median. And that was an easy one. Item 44 refers to the following table, which shows the outcome of the semifinals of a Caribbean Cricket Championship. If a team loses a match, what is the probability that a team is not Parrot Catcher's Club? So we have the team, we have wins, loses, and we have the total. The total will be the total amount of games that they played. So Parrot Catchers would have played 10 games, Hibiscus would play 10 games, Sky would play 10 games. If a team loses a match, what's the probability that it is not? So the probability that it's not Parrot Catchers is going to be 1, take away the probability that it is Parrot Catchers Club. PCC. What's the probability that Parrot Catchers Club loses a game? If they play 10 games and they lose 6, the probability that they lose a game is 6 out of 10. So it's going to be 1 take away 6 out of 10, which is going to be the probability that Parrot Catchers loses, a team loses, right? Or this is a conditional probability question, I believe. If a team loses, what's the probability? So, if a team loses, what's the probability that it is not Parrot Catchers Club? So, the probability that it is Parrot Catchers Club is 4/10, which is 2/5. So, the probability that it is not Parrot Catchers Club, which is 2/5, given that the team loses, it's going to be the probability 2/5 divided by the probability that the team loses. The probability that a team loses, it's going to be 17 out of 30. So 2/5 divided by 17 out of 30, 12 out of 17, which is not an option there. All right, so let me just go down to basics for this one. If a team loses, what's the probability that the team is not Parrot Catchers Club? Not Parrot Catchers Club. It had to be Hibiscus or Skyrocket, which is, them have 8 losses and 3 losses, which is 11 losses together, over the total number of losses, which is 17. We're going to get 11 out of 17. A bag contains 15 balls numbered 1 through 15. What's the probability of selecting a ball that has an odd number and is divisible by 5? So and is multiply. So the probability that we have an odd number on the ball, it's going to be getting an odd number will be 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. So that is 8 out of the 15. And if it's divisible by 5, we have 5, 10. 10 is not odd. All right? 5 and 15, which is 2. 2 out of the 15. And there's multiply, yeah. What's the probability that the we can have that? Yeah, we could have that. 16 out of how much? 16 divided by 15 by 15. Nah. Can't be 3. Cannot be 3. Because what's the probability of us selecting a ball that has an odd number? Okay, so you select a ball and that have an odd number and it's divisible by 15. Yeah, it can't be that. It can't be 3. Bam bam. 5, 8 over 15 by 5. 75. 8 over 75. 8 over 75. Breaking it down. Yeah, it can't be that. Can't be that. Let me check back again, right? Odd number 1 through 15. So I have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. Oh God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So selecting a ball that has an odd number is going to be 8 out of 15 and is divisible by 5. Divisible by 5 is going to be 2. Will it be 2 out of these numbers here? 2 out of the 8? Multiply by 2 out of 8, we will get 2 out of 15. Now, the wording of this question throwing me off a bit. What is the probability of selecting a ball that has an odd number and one of those odd number balls is divisible by 5? We have 8 odd number balls and 2 of those odd number balls are divisible by 5. So to select a ball that's divisible by 5, out of the first set of balls I selected, it's going to be 2 out of 8. And I'm going to get 2 out of 15 as my answer. Right, I'll check that back. Yeah, that's the answer for it. So, good luck. If you learn something new, leave a like, share the video with your brethren them, with your sister in them, and I'll have Advanced Monday, which is, well, for those who are watching this in the future, sometime in the future, I'll have Advanced probably tomorrow. Most of all, I like to study the night before the exam. So good luck. Paper one's good, bringing you distinctions. Peace.